welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English of course, as you may already have noticed. And today I want to show you 3 different games again, which will be Basketball.next, Splat and ATV Quad Bike Impossible Stunts. My name is Gerald, and as always I've got a couple of different input devices with me, which is of course the Arc mouse, for instance, for mouse input. I'm going to use the Foldable keyboard, which is this one, for keyboard input, as you may already have guessed. And of course there is the Xbox One and wireless controller, and this time around there's a game that really supports it, so we are going to use that. And yeah, in addition to all of this, we of course have the core of the whole thing, which is a Lumia 950 XL. This is a Continuum enabled Windows 10 mobile smartphone with a zebra wood cover on the back. And we are going to use its capabilities to connect it with a USB-C connector at the bottom here. And the USB-C cable you see here is connected to the display dock, which is standing at the side, this little box. And this little box is connected to the TV, and the TV itself will just be the displaying part and will not do any kind of I don't know, calculation or something. All of this is done by the smartphone, and that is what we are going to have a look at today, or better to say what we are going to play with today. Yeah, if you want to know more about that, please have a look at the corner up there. There you will find additional information and other videos where I'm explaining more about what Continuum is, what it can do, and where it is used. And yeah, so I would say let's start with the first game now. The first game is Basketball or Basketball.next. And Basketball.next is more or less a jump and run game. Not really, but it's close to that. So let's have a look at that. First off, I will just take my mouse here and go to the all apps list at this point. And now I'm going to go to Basketball.next. There it is already. So we are going to click on that. And what Basketball.next is all about is you have more or less an avatar you are playing, which is of course a basketball. It's a cool J basketball, you can see here. I'm going to close it for now. And the whole game, I'm going to turn down the volume here on my keyboard with the action keys I have there. And the whole game is about bringing this ball into this net, of course. And what you are going to have to do here is you are going to control the ball as an avatar, so your playing figure. And like that, you are going to try to put it into the net here. And yeah, let's start with that. One very important thing to tell you here is that this game is not really controllable by the mouse or something. You really should use your keyboard in this case. So touch on your smartphone itself, of course is working, and the keyboard will be working, but the mouse isn't working. Just to let you know. Okay, so first off, I will turn around to have a better view on the game here, so I can better play that. And as you can see, there's a little bit of advertisement up the front there, but it's really not important, so we are going to leave it there. And now you can see we have start options, and this is solution more or less, but we are not going to use that. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to play, of course, and now you can see that we are going to see a little bit of advertisement, which has to be clicked away with the mouse. It's a little bit odd, but you have to get used to that. After that, you have to click this play button again, and now you can see we can play a couple of these levels. As you can see, I played already the first 8 of them, but I think we should start with the first one just so you can see the tutorial and what this game is all about, because it's a little bit interesting to control, but I really like it somehow. And I really started to get the hang of it after a while, and it's really fun to play it. Okay, so first off, next game. If you are playing with the keyboard, please use the spacebar or the enter key to more or less confirm what you have selected at the moment, and use the back and force key to go on with that. there's not much you can do else than that, and in the game itself it's going to be the same. So I'm just going to use that now. And as you can see, there's no option for you to click on it with the mouse, but you can click on it with the spacebar, for instance. Okay. So what you can see here is this is your little guy, or your little basketball more or less. And what's going to happen here, I don't think I'm at the first level now, I'm at another level, but doesn't really matter. Let's play this one. And as you can see, this is the play mode where we are going to have to play a little bit like in, for instance, I don't know, something like Angry Birds or something. This is not the normal play mode, or there are different play modes in this game. So this one is one of them, but other one is, for instance, that you are going to bounce around, and if you hit the spacebar, for instance, you are going to bounce on the ground, and you have to bounce in the right way to get to this net, for instance. But let's see. And what you can see here is the important, or the difficult part is that this platform is trying to give us a hard time. So let's see if we can get around that. There we are. As you can see, we got this. He is very proud that we got it. And we have to do it a couple of times now in this game, or in this level, which is a little bit odd. As you can see, we can manipulate how far and where our jump is going to be. And as you can see, we have to collect the stars, or we can collect the stars at least. And let's do that and try it out. As you can see, now we can control. Ah, no, we can't. In this section, we are not allowed to do it like that. Doesn't really matter. So as you can see, we can now use the keys here to control where our jump will go. This is of course very important. And now let's just try that out. And I'm not sure if I have one now. Yeah, I have one now. Okay, so what you really have to do is to collect the stars then and try to go on. And since we already got one of the jumps in the net there, it seems to be okay for now. Okay, but what we really have to do is something like this. This is more or less the normal way you're going to play this. So if I hit the spacebar, or if I, for instance, the spacebar, whatever, let's use it here. First off, click once in there, and after that you can hit the spacebar. And then, as you can see, I can hit the spacebar in a very fast way, and as you can see, it's going to get more energy from that. And now we can try to jump around here and get to the net. The most important thing is, of course, that you don't get in touch with those spikes there. That's a very bad thing to happen, of course. Okay. And as you can see, there are different kind of things we have to accomplish here, and we have a timer, so we should try to be fast here. If I hit the ground often, we get those energy boosts, and now we got it and worked it out. So as you can see, we have a timer, we have some kind of obstacles here we have to avoid, we have some kind of different puzzles to solve, more or less, with this little guy, and it's really a fun game to play. You have to get used to it for a little bit, and there's a lot of advertisement in between, at least, but I don't think that that is very important. As you can see, there's even some kind of an enemy now. I don't know that one. Very interesting. That's the first time I'm going to have to fight against the enemy. So first, if you want to play this, use your mouse, click once into the window. After that it's active, and now we can use our basketball here. Okay, and it's bad to hit him, so we can't really... Funny. We can't really get past him like this, I think. Ah, we can, but it's really... Jump away. Jump away. Yeah, okay. So, as you can see, this is how the game is played. I really like it. It's really funny. It has funny expressions in there, and I hope we are going to get that done sooner or later. Yeah. Okay, and of course you control the basketball, as I said, with the mouse, the keyboard. The mouse is only to activate the window. After that, use the keyboard with the arrow keys, for instance, and the spacebar, of course. Or if you want to use the enter key, that's fine too. And that is more or less the game. Okay, so I would suggest you to try it out. It's really fun. It's hard to show, I think, because it really has some kind of puzzle elements that you should play before you see this. And I couldn't go to the first level now for this game, but whatever. And so let's have a look at the second game. The second game is Roller Splat. Roller Splat, I'm going to go to my All Apps list here again. And I'm going to put in Roller Splat, there it is. Roller Splat is a puzzle game where you have to more or less color the ground, and you have to color the ground everywhere you can go, and that is more or less what you have to do here. It's a puzzle game for that, and what's going to happen here is you control this ball. This ball will paint the ground if it's going to roll over it. And after that, you really have to go and try to solve this puzzle here. There is some kind of a thing, I don't know if it's meant to be like that, or what it is at the start at least, or at the first 16 levels. It's not important, or it's not going to let you lose or something. So I'm not really sure what it is all about. So let's have a look. As you can see, first you have to click once, and then you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard again, and what it will do is it will go into one direction as far as it can and paint the ground on there. In general, as you can see, in most situations everything is fine. It's going to work like this, and there's not going to be any kind of problems. This has a little bit of advertisement, as you can see, but you can always click it away, so it's not that important. And in general, there is nothing that is going to prevent you from, for instance, going over your own paint and stuff like that. But sometimes, as you can see here, there are some of the areas which are not going to be painted. I'm not sure if this is meant to be, so it's harder to paint the stuff, which would make some kind of sense if you ask me, because painting is not always as easy as just one brush and everything is painted. But I'm not sure if this has to be with frame rate drops or something, or if it's really just meant to be like this. But as mentioned before, it's not really important. All you have to do is just cover all the stuff up with paint. If you are ready, click Continue and go to the next game. And there are going to be a couple of advertisements like this. In most situations, you should be able to get rid of them, at least after a while, and then of course you can just close it down and go on. But there's a lot of that, so if you don't like advertisement a lot, or who likes it? But you know what I mean. If you can't bear it, you might want to stay away from this game. But as you can see, we can now use our keyboard again to play this and try to get this done. Most situations are quite easy to solve. Some are a little bit harder because since you can only go to the next obstacle before you halt, you're not going to be able to solve each and every level here just by going very easily like this, more or less what I'm doing here. It's really not very hard to do, but there are going to be a couple of them which are not easily solvable. In this case, there is one of these occasions where, for instance, you would like to go in that direction, so go to get your ball here and then go to the right, but that's not going to happen. You have to go this way, otherwise you can't control the ball. And as you can see, there are a couple of different goal points or something that you can get here. It's not really important to get them as far as I know, but you can do that and get a higher score with them. And as you can see, here's another obstacle I can't overcome other than going back. And like this is more or less a small little puzzle game, as you can see, that you can play. It's really not hard to solve or something, you really can do it easily, but it's something to play. For instance, if you are waiting on the bus stop or something and want to just get rid of some time, then this might be a good idea to play. Yeah, and now let's have a look at the last game of this episode, which is ATV Quad Bike Impossible Stunts. This is a game where you are going to drive around in a 3D quad, and you have a 3D gaming experience here. And you're going to drive around with a quad, and you have to more or less avoid obstacles and stuff like that, and go in a certain amount of time to that. We can use that with the Xbox One and the wireless controller, as mentioned before. I'm going to activate it now. And you can play it with the keyboard too. I would prefer the keyboard in some situations. Sometimes I like the Xbox One wireless controller more. It depends what you are going to do. And you have to be very cautious about what you set up in this game, because if you're playing it with Continuum, as we are doing here, you really have to switch it to the wrong button state, or whatever you want to call it. But let's have a look at that. Okay, so first off, I'm going to type that in. Okay, there we are. And what you are going to see here is more or less this guy who is driving around with this quad. And you are going to steer him, and that is more or less what you are going to do here. Okay, so give it a little bit of time. It's loading for a couple of seconds in general. And here you can see what I am talking about. This is more or less an obstacle parkour, or whatever you want to call that. And as you can see, you all, of course, shouldn't drive against some of these. You just try to go around here. And here is a little bit of an odd thing. So if you are going to have this setting, so you can click on those, and you are going to have this setting, I think it's not going to work with the keyboard and stuff like that. I'm not sure why, because from the button itself it should look like this, but try it like this and you should be fine. Okay, so first off, we are going to use that. Now in the menu and stuff like that you have to use your mouse. I'm going to click on play now. As you can see, there are a couple of different levels you can see here. We already played a couple of them. I'm going to play the first one, of course. And now let's see if I have the right... no, I don't have the right setting at the moment. We have to go back. Sorry for that. The first time you are going to play this, it's the way I described. So, whatever. Let's change that to the right one. Let's try it again. I'm really not sure if that button is functional. Yeah, and here we are. Now we can play it. It's really, there is a little bit of a bug there somehow with the controller setting in the menu, if you ask me. But whatever, let's try to play this. As you can see, I have the Xbox One wireless controller in my hand, trying to avoid the obstacles here. And yeah, after a while you get the hang of it, and when to drive with it. I really don't like the Xbox One wireless controller that much to play this. It's okay, you can do it, but it's a little bit hard because the quad really needs some kind of a long time till it's more or less ready to drive. So you really should start to powering up your engine here when the obstacle is at the down part, otherwise you are not going to be fast enough to drive through there. As you can see, that worked out okay. Now there's not going to be any kind of an aim or target or something. You just get those rings here, and after a while you clear the level with that and can go to the next one. So let's try the next one. And here's another obstacle available that you didn't see in the first level. So it's all about obstacles and avoiding of obstacles. That was pretty close. It's right up. Yeah. Okay. And this one, for instance, I find this pretty hard to go through. Especially if you are more or less very slow at the start. So be very careful with this. If it's there, just drive through, and that worked out, okay. And again, just to let you know, I'm dead. If you go down, for instance, like this, you're going to die more or less. Seems like we got ourselves to a point where we have to restart the game. If you have to restart the game once in a while, just use your mouse, go here, and you can click on restart, and then you can go on again. But you will restart from the start, of course, of this level. So let's see if we can get that done in a better way. First obstacle, okay. Second one, let's see if it's coming down. I'm going to speed up my part here. And if you are, as I am at the moment, a little bit uncertain about, yeah, okay, couldn't get the curves or the roads there. But as you can see, this is a game. Just try to avoid all the different obstacles, drive around and try to play it. You can play it with the Xbox One as a wireless controller. You can play it with a keyboard if you want to. So use the arrow keys or the WASD for that, and try to drive around. It's not very easy to play this game, but if you are more or less up to the request here, just try it out. It's really fun to play, and in the end it has quite good graphics for a game like this, and you might want to try it out. Maybe you like it. So, and this is more or less the conclusion of this episode. I hope you had fun with one or two of the games. Please try them out, and you can get them all in the Windows Store, of course, or in the Microsoft Store. And so I hope you had fun with it. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please give a thumbs up, of course, if you didn't do it till now. And of course, if you didn't subscribe till now, you might want to do that too. And don't forget the bell icon, so you get a notification when I upload more than I did before. Okay, so thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode, probably around Saturday or Sunday in the next week. And so thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and bye bye.